Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the actual scene due to copyright reasons, but I think I can just play the audio and show you a picture on the screen, and you will have to associate in your mind the picture with the audio that you're going to hear. So, apparently this is a chant by the witches from Star Wars.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of cringe writing. You know, I think what's happening here is explainable by the South Park episode where they mocked Kathleen Kennedy and they said, put a chick in it and make her gay. So Disney listened to that and they were like, well, if even South Park is mocking us, what we need to do, the problem is that we only put one chick in it and make her gay. So the solution is to have the power of many. I mean, you know, you don't mess up when Forbes is mocking you. Because up until this point, there's a lot of people that are high on copium on Twitter. And they're saying, oh, it's these YouTubers that are ruining it. Right, so like Disney, the multinational, multi-billion-dollar enterprise that spends hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing, that has business deals with all of these social media companies, and they're investing all their effort in order to make something popular. But those goddamn YouTubers, you know, it's that little troll in his house at his little desk criticizing the movie and puppeteering people with the power of many in order to make the movie unwatchable. Or in this case, the show. But now I guess it's not just me, you know? And again, I can't even convince people to hit that subscribe button, let alone puppeteer people to not watch shows. Forbes itself, I mean, it's Forbes magazine. Oh, Forbes magazine is basically taking a shit on this. And I'm looking at it, and it's like, why is it coming to this, right? Like, why do you have some witches doing the chant, which is incredibly cringe? And I'm thinking, could I have made it better? Right? Because now I'm writing for my own video game, and the question is like, could I have made it better? And the answer is yes and no. Like, yes, you are able to write something better, but you will not be allowed. The fat HR hag that looms over us all is going to say that, no, this is not politically correct. In other words, let's think about, you know, other cool witch-like things that happen in media. Far Cry 3, right? Like, Far Cry 3 has that very sexy sister of the antagonist, and she does like all of these tribal dances and she does her magic and stuff. That is politically incorrect because once she's hot, like, you cannot cast hot actors in modern TV shows, especially ones that are marketed for teenagers, which Star Wars is. Like, my wife noticed this. Like, my wife is watching Star Wars and is saying, like, why are all the women here over the age of 37? And I'm like, well, that can't be it. And I go on Wikipedia and like, yeah, almost everyone that they casted is over the age of 35. And again, like, this is a show marketed for teenagers. Like, why don't you cast people between the ages of 20 and 25? Like why can't you do that? And the answer is because you can't have sexiness, right? Like, they want to redefine what sexy is. And in their opinion, sexy is a 37-year-old witch. That is the new sex symbol of the United States of America that all of us need to enjoy, right? So we're subverting our expectations. In other words, you cannot have, like, sexy witches, right? Which is what Far Cry did. So you can't write anything like that. Well, what about the tribalistic aspect? Like, what about having them with spears and stuff and doing a tribalistic dance that may actually look cool? No, you can't have that either because that would be politically incorrect. So you can't have them with spears and doing, like, a cool dance. Again, like Far Cry stuff. No, you can't have that. And this is the problem. What's left is HR. It's corporate. Like, if it's allowed in a corporation, it's okay. If it's not allowed in a corporation, then it's not okay. So you have, like, this really cringe stuff. It's like, oh, the power of one. Oh, the power of one. The power of many. You know? Like, that's literally the only thing you're allowed to write. And this is why people don't want to understand. It's like, when I see ugly women in entertainment, right? Like when you can cast literally anything. Like you have over 360 million people to choose from, and you go and you choose the most unesthetically pleasing, that tells me you're woke. And if it tells me you're woke, it tells me a lot of other things. Like, it's not that I want to see sexy women in TV shows, because I can do that if I want. You know, I can just go back and watch the stuff that I used to watch when I was a kid. I can watch American Pie again. I can watch Cabin in the Woods. Like, nothing is stopping me from watching stuff that was made before 2016. No, like what it tells me is that you're woke. And if you're woke, it tells me that you do not allow your writers to write. You do not allow people to create. You do not allow actual fun to take place. You do not write with entertainment in mind. You're writing with your garbage political agenda in mind, which, again, like this show apparently has pronouns by episode 3. So this is why the moment I see it, it's like a red flag. It's like the probability that your show is going to be shit is phenomenally high. It's like going outside and seeing dark clouds on the horizon. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to rain, but chances are that you should take an umbrella. I mean, look at, Breaking Bad, right? Like the first episode, you see Skyler. Better Call Saul, the first episode, you see Kim. Like shows that are actually there for entertainment, like The Orville, The 100. Like all of these shows are not afraid to cast beautiful people in them. Even Stargate, right? Like I trying to think of a good show that doesn't have good-looking actors. Usually, again, between the age of 20 and 25. But when you look at these other shows that are currently coming out of Netflix, of Amazon, and usually the pretty woman is the exception. Like most of them are between the ages of 35 to 40. And again, like my wife noticed that yesterday, and she was like, "Isn't this interesting?" And I was like, "What? Really? Like, no, it can't be." And I go on Wikipedia, and it turns out to be true. It turns out to be the case. Because the casting director, they're going out of their way in order to cast the most unappealing actors for the job. Which, again, is not a problem. Like, you can still have a good TV show like that, but it tells me you're woke. Because like, I have to wonder, like, why did you do it? Why did you go for, like, the most unesthetically pleasing? And if you're woke, it tells me a whole lot of things, right? So, in this situation, they don't even care about the lore. Apparently, people are upset that they retconned the lore, because what they are doing is they're using the Force in order to create life, right? So, these lesbian witches, and I'm not making this up, like, this is what the show actually says, like, they are lesbian witches. They are summoning the Force in order to create the protagonist, right? So, like, the protagonist has 2 mothers. Already you're hyped, right? Like, already you want to see what it's about. Already you're tuning in. But, yeah, the protagonist has 2 mothers. And apparently the issue with this is that if they're made by the Force, it contradicts the official Star Wars canon, because only Darth Plagueis the Wise was the only one that managed to do something like this. Like, this is a feat of monumental knowledge and power, and, like some of the most powerful Siths in the Star Wars universe have tried to accomplish this, and they couldn't. And now you have this being done in a very bizarre chant. Doesn't require any effort. Apparently, an entire culture of people knows how to do it. So yeah, like, it's bad writing overall. They're more concerned with pronouns. They're more concerned with, pushing the correct message rather than focusing on making an interesting adventure. Like, this is so pathetic, because when you think about Star Wars, is one of the easiest settings that you can have in order to create an interesting storyline. I mean, you have a galaxy that you can create anything, and you create cringe. What does that say about you as writers? Let me know what you guys think, though, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.